I first realized Becca was gay when we were driving home from Tufts after it was in December, she was ending that semester, she was starting a new one, she was moving to New York, and I could feel she needed to get something off her chest, and she said, "By the way, Mommy, I have a crush on a girl." And I asked her, "Why do you always tell me stuff like this while we're driving?"
Well, that's pretty... Why, so you really
Because
remember?
she does. I do remember. I remember because we were driving home and we had plans to go out to dinner that night with Becca's childhood friend Jackie and her mom Shelley, who they spent years and years together at each other's house, back and forth. And anyway, so we get home and I don't remember if I told you or not. I don't remember telling you.
Honestly, I really don't remember the exact date, instant. It wasn't like a total revelation, but it was sort of like, I think overall it may have had the same effect as if, Daddy, I went to the consignment shop and I got that $5 sweater, something like that, because it was just, yeah, it's okay, you're gay, all right, that's cool.
But she didn't come out and say I'm gay. She said, "I think I have a crush on a girl, but my therapist thinks I'm a heterosexual."
But that made her, and then I felt that she had a lot, people always said she had a lot of common things with her dad, and I know I used to have a crush on a girl too, so this was just another thing that, she kind of took after me.
Well, anyway, so I just remember thinking that Becca's a smart, bright girl, and that maybe she's experimenting, but I said, in 6 months, if you still have a crush on this girl, get back to me on it.
Yeah, we have to admit, we always had faith in her intelligence and knowing herself, so that if she thought she was gay, then yeah, she probably was. So, that's cool.
But we went out to dinner that night with our friends, and I saw Becca take Jackie and go off in the corner and do this like little pss, 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 pss thing. So I'm sure that's what she was telling Jackie. And I remember telling Shelley, "Well, Becca told me today that she has a crush on a girl." And Shelley saying, "Yeah, she's a bright, inquisitive girl. Maybe she does have a crush on a girl." But we thought, all right, she's going off to New York, no big deal, whatever it is, and we'll deal with it when we have to deal with it. Because Becca, at that point, wasn't sure she was gay.
Right.
I guess I never saw it coming, and now when I look back, it's like, oh yeah, there was the crush on the teacher, there was when she went to camp, there was the whole thing with the counselors and how much she liked the counselors. But I thought that was just part of wanting to be the best, or being teacher's pet, or something like that. But when I look back, yeah, maybe it all makes sense, but you still like the twirly dresses and the little black patent leather shoes. We had gay people in our life. Becca said we never spoke about it, but I didn't think it was anything to speak about. They were people, and they were in our lives, and they were wonderful people. So why would I say anything? I don't point out heterosexual people to her. So that was how it was fun.
I don't think it really had, I don't think it was like a major impact or a revelation that made a major impact. I'll speak for myself. To me, that's why I may not remember the exact date. I think both Rebecca and Michael, Rebecca's brother, unfortunately had some major tragedies when they were young kids. They had two very, very, very close people die when they were young. And as far as a revelation, this was a hell of a lot more welcome than someone close to them getting a fatal illness. So as long as it wasn't something that was bad, something that was involved sickness and death and that kind of tragedy, then you know what?
Right, and she was happy. When she was telling me she was happy.
Yeah, and it was
happy is a good thing.
Yeah, it was part of her growing into herself and realizing who she was and what she was. Then it was actually pretty good. The advice I would give to any parent whose kid is coming out that they're telling their parent they're gay is just be all of the things being equals such as them being healthy and productive and happy, it's just, that's really the bottom line. And if it makes them even more happy to come out, then I would tell any parent to give their kid 110% support, because probably as a child it's probably one of the most difficult things to come out to their parent that they're gay. And I think it's so important for you as a parent to tell your kid, you know what, I love you more because you had the strength to come out to me, to be honest with me, and give that honesty and that strength back to your child, because it's probably the most important kind of parental love that you can give your kid.
You just have to love your child. It doesn't make them a different person. They're still your child.
If you're a parent, just think of how the anxiety that your child must be going through to come out to you because of the historical sort of stigma maybe against it. And you know, times are changing, and it's got to be really, really tough, A, for them to come out to themselves, and B, to come out to their parent. Because let's face it, as a child, you have, I think you have the most vulnerability, you have the most exposure psychologically to your parent, because any and all children want their parents' acceptance, admiration, and feeling that you're really proud of them. And a child coming out to you should be really, you know, just one of those things that you come back to your child and say, you know what, I'm very happy you have the courage to come out, because we love you maybe even more now, because this is probably a very difficult thing for you to have done, and the fact that you had the courage to do it, we love you even more. That's probably the advice I would have. That and probably, what?
It's my turn. Just to say that if it frightens you, or when a child tells you they've been agonizing over it for however long, months, years, it's the first thing you might hear, and it might be the first that you realize it. But before you say anything that may be hurtful because it's taken you by surprise, take a deep breath and remember it's your child, and how difficult it must have been for that child to tell you that. So if you can just take a deep breath and hug your child, just hug your child and make sure that the child knows that you love them. And if you can't get a grip on it right away, if it's upsetting and you need time, tell the child that. And hopefully they will understand where you're coming from as well. It's a give-take. Becca has given me things to read and to look at. I've checked out her website. There's support groups to look at. I found I've learned a lot, and I think it's a good thing.
And parents out there, if you have an issue, have a problem, just contact me. I'll give you a hand. I'll help you out. Oh, there is one other thing though. Like if you have a daughter that comes out, then the only kind of downside is you may have to spend more time like at Lord & Taylor looking for 2 dresses instead of like 1 dress if they want to get married.
Well, you know, and that was the other thing. When Becca and I were talking, she was nervous that she wouldn't be able to invite her family to a wedding. And she asked us if we would go to the wedding. I thought she was crazy. But I thought it was great, because does that mean we don't have to pay for the wedding?
What, do we have a wedding to go to?
No, she's not getting married yet, but why wouldn't her family want to come to the wedding?
But, right.
But do we have to pay for it?
Any other questions?